Death Stranding 2 had some big reveals at the Tokyo Game Show, and today we're going to be breaking it down. This is going to be just a quick dive into things that we see and analyze. As we know, part one was an amazing masterpiece, in my opinion. And today we're going to dive down a rabbit hole of this game. You guys don't know I'm a big Hideo Kojima fan. I love his work. He is the greatest director for video games pretty much of all time. So today we're going to dive in. Before we do, I do have giveaways, so check out the comments for that and get yourself involved so that we can get you going. We're going to skip through some of this just so you guys know. First things first, I did not have a translator to break all this down for me just yet, but we will get into that in the near future. Right? So we're going to start off by just checking out our buddy here, the one and the only. He has some type of ring on his hand, and these things aren't just there for show. That's going to be some type of powerful device, maybe the new cuff, because he doesn't seem to have one. And then we're seeing the leaks of the amazing storyline aspects when it comes to, let's just call it what it is. You know what it is. So right here, I want to take a pause and talk about the ship in general. This is kind of like a hologram type of wheel to control it. One thing I want to talk about is Fragile. If you don't know who that is, she's one of the main characters of the first story, and she looks like she's going to be definitely very important for this one. And she has these two hands over her neck, and I'm just curious why, right? There's going to be deeper purposes, and they're just kind of like their own thing. They're not just gloves, guys. They move around and they're a little creepy, okay? So that's something to think about. And then we're going to be introduced to some new elements and see some very cool things as we go forward. But just pay attention to the fact that, you know, this character here seems to be otherworldly. And I mean, this whole game is outrageous, right? But you have a cat with these wings who is also very interesting. And then you have our number one protagonist. And right here, George Miller, one of the greatest, Tar Man. And, you know, this tar is a part of the beach. It's a big part of the story and it's very special. So the fact that he also has basically a hand that is made of the tar and the cat, it was a little strange, but I mean, of course, this is story wise. He seems like one of the good guys and he's just doing his job. So pretty interesting, but it's always a developing story, right? You don't know what to make of it, but it's very, very interesting. And then we're going to go and just slowly check out our one and only. And again, I didn't get the translations to this just yet. This is all in Japanese, so I'm going to have y'all covered when we do get that. And you see Fragile here with this hand that I talked about. It also has that ring. In the previous game, you used to use handcuffs, and that was the device that you needed. But now it looks like they turned it into a ring and a smaller, quicker, easier version. That's my assumption. And when she has that tear, that means that there's something lurking in the air. And so, super interesting. While she's blowing the smoke, it could be a little deeper. You can see when Sam breathed, it's also cold as well. And that just shows you that there's something there. And here, of course, Sam finally sees probably one of the most important things. And we're curious about how this is all going to work and what is the storyline saying about this introduction. And, you know, Kojima and them said they're going to have a translation. So we'll see about that. Then we have our puppets. Again, these are things that I have not checked into and found deeper information for just yet. But he's a very interesting character, in my opinion, you know, and I want to kind of pause it here and give you guys a quick look at the actor. Faith Akin, aka the Dollman. And I don't have no clue what this Dollman is about. But yeah. Super interesting. He's pretty intense because he's not from this world and he's being in here as a doll, so it's a little bit strange. And I'm curious on what his storyline will be. Kojima always has some very creative things, and this one's pretty outrageous. So like Pinocchio type of story, a puppet slash. We'll see. It's very interesting. And then we jump forward into the second trailer that they basically showcased. And again, we got Sam fully decked out, and this is very important for people to know. Like, I was suggesting that Fragile might be the main character. You know, we'll play as Sam a little bit, but then we'll play as Fragile, or play as Fragile first and then back to Sam. Kojima's a little tricky like that, right? But the way he's outfitted now, this is like he's authentic, who he really is. And we're gonna rewind that part just so you can see it. But mostly the main thing I want you to pay attention to here, he is reconnected, right? He took out Lou from the device a while ago. Now maybe she's back, or this is another entity. We don't know. We will be finding out. But again, a lot of cool stuff. And there's some special guests here, and we're going to talk about them in a second. But I think you guys know who these actresses are, and they're very important to the story this time around. So I'm very interested in how they're going to play this and what they're going to do. And we're going to take a pause just to kind of give you a quick preview. The one and the only. I think she's such a great actress, and I'm so glad they have her in here. And that's going to be fun to kind of explore what comes of it. Okay. And they kind of just in this presentation showcase who's who and what's what as far as voice actors go, whether it's the Japanese or American version. And so they're storing some things, and it feels like one thing I can say is that we're getting a more grounded, connected story where Sam isn't alone all the time. These two are together. She's pregnant in this scenario, and it just really feels like we're gonna get one of those, like, okay, we're all on this ship together, we're working together, and Sam's gonna be doing his missions, but he can come in and go through those things. And then guess what? Another confirmation with the Dollman actually being a part of your traversal. So he's probably gonna do commentary as you traverse. I hope they have an option to turn them off. A lot of people don't like that stuff. I love it when games do this and they have you companions that you can talk with, because it just adds more lore to the game. But that's just me. You let me know what you're thinking in the comments. And then, you know, you can see Sam's fully decked for missions. Like, this is the real deal Sam. This is official, not playing around type Sam. So I like that. And again, they kind of feel like a family, and they're connected together, and it's not like Sam's some random stranger. They're just having a serious talk. And in this, they actually sing, guys. And again, it's pretty cool for them to kind of put this into the game in its own way. And I'm gonna just play it a little bit.
So I just did me some talk to the sound.
But yeah, so that is what's going on in this trailer. Just a very sweet trailer, in my opinion. And they're mostly introducing the characters of the story. They're not giving away too much plot, but it's very, very intriguing. And once I get this translation, I'll break this whole thing down a little deeper. But man, I absolutely love this. There's a couple more things in here that I want to kind of point out to you guys in these trailers, and then help you prepare for this game. I mean, great stuff from Kojima. And then we're gonna dive into some information right here where we could see Sam I Am. And again, he's with the doll. So this just tells you a lot. And Guess is one of the most interesting characters. I mean, his home is always outrageous, and it's even worse. Well, better. I don't know if it's worse or better, but very strange man. But his name is not strange. It is called Heartman. And I think you guys know who that is. And it's pretty interesting. He's actually not a zombie, by the way. He was just sleeping. He has a very cool exoskeleton where you can just lay back and you'll rest. And so, but he wasn't sleeping. If you don't know his story, he basically has to die every couple seconds trying to find his wife. And it's a lot of really deep stuff, but pretty cool background area. If you pay attention, there's these things, the BDs, BTs all over. And I'm curious on what he's doing with them in this way. And yeah, he pretty much reveals this exoskeleton that I'm not sure if you're gonna have, but it's pretty powerful. So I'm assuming you'll get that. And again, he uses this. He got all these samples and all these different things. He's a really good scientist. He's very strategic, and it looks like he's back in full effect. And I'm loving that. And I thought this was a very cool trailer, just to kind of bring him back, somebody we love very much, and see where this story is going. Again, him using this device right here, I'm not sure how we would use it outside of if we can carry stuff, but it looks like it doesn't have a backpack on it. I would prefer one, and then we can settle in, you know. But I love that right there. I want one of those in real life, you know. Pretty luxurious if you ask me. But yeah, it's always interesting with Kojima bringing us these wild elements. And now we're going to dive into just a feature in the game that's confirmed. Yes, a real photo mode. And this is kind of wild. So basically, it looks like Sam is able to just pull out his camera and whoever's around will pose. If they're not enemies, of course. I'm curious how enemies will react to it. I don't think they will take pictures, but maybe, you never know. Kojima's kind of funny like that. But as you can see right here, they're just hanging out and it's a good vibe. And I think it's a very cool feature to add to the game as far as people who love taking photos. I'm not heavy on the photos. If I see something awesome, I might screenshot, but that's it. I'm not putting time in to get some crazy photos. But with these beautiful women here, why not, right? It's just something very cool to add the emotes that they were reacting to. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more things that you can do with this, but I'm just curious how this whole thing works. And again, with the translations that I'm going to have of the full show, I felt like a 2-hour show, to be honest with you. I think it was like an hour and a half, but a very good presentation. It had musical guests and a whole bunch of cool little details in there that I thought was, hey, that's nice to have as far as a feature. And yeah, so there you go. The photo mode, pretty awesome stuff to have a presentation like that. And I want to kind of just go into a little promo. We're not here to promote anybody. This isn't a sponsor stream. But Kojima, as always, he has merch. And one of the merches, which I actually would love to get, the black version, which is these jackets here for a collaboration that he got going on. Thought this was cool. And I thought, why not? I like it. Keep it going, you know. So for me, it's a W, and this whole thing was a W when it comes to presentation and giving us something, and it taught me a lot. It looks like Sam's integrated into this group, and they're going to be a part of his journey and story. It's not going to just be him alone fully. So this is a developing type of game. So first he was all alone, and now it looks like he's going to have more companions to interact with throughout the missions and stuff. So I love that. Well, that's pretty much the full coverage. I will have the translation of the full show to see what they gave us as gold nuggets. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Another video should be popping up if it isn't the one that I just going to be making for the translation. I'll see y'all there. Go jump in the comments for some giveaways, man. Take care of yourself. Stay blessed out there. Peace.